everyone, Emmylou here. Today I want to show you how to do a Van Gogh portrait. So it's going to actually be his face. So I want to show you this really cool board. So that's his name, or that was his name, Vincent van Gogh. You can pronounce it Goth, but normally it's Go. He was Dutch. That's when he was born, and that's when he wasn't born anymore. That's when he died. So what we need to do, if I hold this up, you can maybe write that on the back of your work. It's quite fun, I think, when you do a picture, to sort of have the artist's information on the back of the work. So maybe pause the video if you want to write that down. And I want to show you some of his work. So this is the one we're doing today. So that's obviously a self-portrait of his own face with a really cool hat on. That one's quite a famous one called Starry, Starry Night. You may have done that one before. Really fun to do. That one is when he wasn't feeling too well and something happened to his ear, bless him. And then this one is super, super famous, sunflowers. He did a lot of these sunflowers. He did different paintings of the same picture. Then this is the last painting. It's the wheat field with crows. Again, I'll write it down so you can see what it actually is. It's the last picture he's ever painted. So we're going to use paint. I'm going to use acrylic paint, but you could use chalk, you could use watercolour pencil, but I think it's good if we just start to draw it. So let's draw it. So we're just going to start off with, you want to do a shape that looks a little bit like a rainbow, strange rainbow. The paper is portrait because we're doing a portrait of the face. So the face is a portrait. So it's up like this, and we want the rainbow to be about almost the middle of the page, but not. And then what we're going to do is go down. So just go down like that. Then just here, we're going to do an ear. So just here, we're going to do an ear. Just about like that. So think of it like, reminds me of a letter of an alphabet, I think. Now, just for the sake of the painting, we could just do that shape, just to make you understand that it's an ear. You don't have to do that shape, you can leave it for now if you like. Then we're going to join it up. So just join up the whole face. If it looks too thin, it's okay. And if it looks quite wide, it doesn't matter. Now what we want to do is do the hat that he's wearing. So the really cool hat that's probably keeping him really cool from the sun. So underneath the ear, just touch there, and you're going to go out and around. So out and around. Maybe stop when you get to here. So I'll do it again. So about there. Now we're going to change kind of the shape of it now. So you've got this. Can you see how I've gone down? We're going to go down and then up again, and then whoa, like that. Now because he's wearing quite a large hat, isn't it? It's quite large. I'm just going to do a line there just to make it look like it's inside of the hat. And then what I want to do is maybe do the top of the hat. So we're just going to go touch about there, and you go up and then down. So it depends how you want the hat to look. Like, it's quite nice to have it how you see it. So it doesn't have to be exactly like mine. Like, if I look at it here, it's a bit higher, but I quite like what I've got. Right, now I am going to do the nose. Now it's an adult nose, so it's a bit larger. So we're going to do eyes first. So think about where your eyes are. They're normally where your ears, like they're in line with your ears, almost. So we're going to do rainbow, and then you want to kind of get your pencil, fly over and do a little mini rainbow. So when I say fly, you don't touch the pencil on the paper. So you just float over the paper. So I've done in the middle of the face on the top, I've done a rainbow, and then float the pencil over and do another mini rainbow. Then upside down rainbow. So you're going to go, whee. And then, this eye is smaller because it's further away. So then we're going to do a nose. Just a line down, quite a long line down. So line down, His nose looks like it's got a bit of a tip to it. Can you see? So we're going to try and incorporate that by just going, just a line there, then up, and then across. So if that looks strange, we'll do it again. So a line like this, and then, doesn't matter how you do it because we're going to paint over it anyway, as long as you've got some sort of nose. And then we're going to do that kind of line. Just gives the impression that you've got a little bit of a bit of on the face where it's kind of going in. Then we want eyeballs and we want an eye, what is it? We want the eyebrow. So one eyebrow there, one eyebrow there. And we want the eyeball. Now the eyeball, just do the iris, which is the big bit. The iris is going to be there. And you want inside the small black bit. And if you look at your eye now, or look at the person next to you, if you've got someone next to you, you'll see a black bit. That's the pupil. You can colour that in pencil if you like. Then you've got the coloured bit that's the iris. So that's what we want to try and do. Now he's got hair, but you don't really see much of the hair. And he's got a really cool beard. A bit like my dad actually. So we've got a line here. Underneath the nose we've got a line. Then we've just got a little lip. So it's a really subtle, like it's very slight. It's not a big whoa, it's just la la la. And then la 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 la. So just really simple lips. It always reminds me a little bit of like a cream bun or something where you've got two buns on top of each other. And then you want the beard. So let's try and draw the beard that looks like my dad's. Okay, now you could just do a shape like that. Going up a bit, and it doesn't come out much, so about there. We're going to paint this, so don't worry if it looks strange. And he's an artist, so he's got a few bags under his eyes, much like me. And then you could do a little line there. So what we want to do now is try and create the body. So just about under the ear, just about there, just draw the neck so it goes down a little bit. And then you want to draw the clothes. So you're going to do this. Just trying to see what I'm doing. So all it is its neck and then like a V, but it's kind of almost lying down the V. Then we want to do a line that goes down. We don't need to touch the whole of the paper. There's just no need. And then just there. And personally for me, I like doing it so it doesn't go all the way down. It just looks quite nice when it's sort of floating. So we're going to do that. I would give him some hair because he has got some hair here. So just a little bit's fine. You'll show that when we colour it in. Now his neck obviously isn't that big, so we're going to have a little neck bit there. Just go down to there. It's almost like he's got a collar. He's got a bit of a mini collar, nothing major. Okay, right. I'm keeping this really simple because I don't want to put too much detail in. What we could do though, we don't really need to because I'm doing crisscross, like noughts and crosses, because it's like a Hessian hat or it's something made out of a woven fabric or a woven material. But what we're going to do is we're going to paint now. So if you look at the brush strokes, can you see them? They're made up of loads of colourful lines. But we obviously don't want to draw, we don't want to colour every single line that he did, but we want to do similar. So what I'm going to do is, I am going to get my paint. So I'm going to need blue. Oh, it doesn't open. So get a blue paint. You're going to need all the primary colours. So primary colours are yellow, red and blue. So you're going to need those, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm just putting them in a pot for you. Not for you, but you'll see me using my one. Okay, we need quite a bit of white. Yellow was Van Gogh's favourite colour. So we are going to use quite a bit of yellow. Let's have a look. Okay, right. So what you want to do is when you're painting, there's my palette. Can you see? So what you're going to need to do is, I'm going to try and do the colour of his skin first, but I kind of want to use brush strokes, so I'm going to try and create them. So what I'm going to do is, I've got white there, yellow there and red there. If you can't make the skin colour by just dabbing in, maybe make it before you paint it on, but I'm going to try and do it as I go along. So I'm going to do this. It's a bit messy, so I'm going to dip it in the red, only a tiny bit, dip it in the yellow, not too much, and kind of scoop the white up. So what I've got, if you can see, is quite a lot of white, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red, but obviously the paint pot gets messy doing that. So you could make two different face colours, two different skin colours that are quite light, but this is why I'm doing it, because I'm going to do this. So the more, like each time, I've got a flat head brush, but you can use any brush, but the more I dab with brush strokes, reminds me of swimming brush strokes, but I'm stroking the brush, and because I've got 3 colours on my brush, it's creating the effect that he has on his paintings. And when I run out of colours on my brush, I mean, I can kind of do quite a lot with this. Now it gets a bit dark, so then I'll get a bit of white on my brush, but because I've already got the colours on there, it will mix in anyway. So it's almost like, it's not dots, it's brush. So you're doing this, 1, I'll do it for the hat so you can see, but that's roughly what you want for the face. Don't worry if it looks a bit dark. If it does look super dark, you can just do that. Now, as I said, if you don't want to do it that way and you're a bit worried or a bit scared, you can just make, I'll do it now actually to show you. You can get a bit of white, get a bit of red, get a bit of yellow, and in your palette, that could be one colour for the skin. A bit yellowy, isn't it? So you want to make, depends what skin, what colour you'd like to do, but we're doing Van Gogh, so he had quite a light colour. So we're doing that. And then we could do another skin colour, could be a lighter one. So then when we come to paint the face, you could just do splodges like that and then pick a bit of that colour and go over, but you won't see the brush strokes as well. So let's try and do it the harder way because it's quite fun. It's fun to try something new if you've not done it before. So now I want to do the hat. Now the hat, if you can see, isn't just one yellow. But let's pick a bit of yellow. So I'm going to take a bit of yellow on my brush. I'm going to take a bit of red, only a tiny bit, and I'm just going to go, because what I'm trying to do, and I keep having to pick up more yellow as I go along, because I only want a hint of red. So we don't want it to look too orange. So I've still got that on my brush, but I'm picking up more yellow. So I've got a tiny bit of red on my brush, but I pick up a bit of red. Depends what kind of brush you've got as well. I'm picking up a tiny bit of red. And all you need to do is take your time. It's not going to be wrong just because it doesn't look like mine. Well, I've just put paint on me. It's quite nice to experiment, have a bit of fun with it. I've now dipped white and yellow with a little bit of red, but I don't want it to look like the face. So I'm just blobbing it on. Can you see my brush is quite large? We don't want a flat colour. So I'll show you what I mean once I've done this. Getting a bit of red, and I'm just putting the brush strokes on there. Getting a bit of white and a bit of red on its own. Can you see the hat now becomes different colours in different places, so it's not all one flat colour. And what I mean by that is, this is a block flat colour, and that's creating the texture. So that's creating the brush strokes. That's what we've got to try and create. If we don't create that, it doesn't matter, but it's quite fun to do that. If you do have a block colour, because it's easier for you, you can then take another colour and just create the brush strokes on top, if that's easier. That's quite a cool way of doing it. but it's kind of a cheating way of doing it for brush strokes, but you could try that. So we've done the hat. Now what we want is, he's got quite a red ear, so we're going to get a bit of red, and then we're just going to colour his ear a little bit red. I'm going to give him a bit of a red cheek. He looks quite red in places. Bit of a red lip, not too red though. Well, I think that's it for now. We don't want to do too much. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, oh, just dropped my brush. There's something I've forgotten. Does anyone know what it might be? Obviously I've got to finish it, but there's something I've forgotten which I didn't really realise when I was doing it. It's the neck. So the neck has to be the same colour as the face really. So we're going to get a bit of red again, a tiny bit of yellow, a lot of white. And we're just going to do this. So that's super light, isn't it? I overdid the white there, so I'm going to dip it in, yellow and red, just to create almost the same. It has to be quite chunky. There we go. It's always quite dark under your eyes. It's a bit darker, so we can do a darker red under the eyes if you want to, and a bit of red there. It's up to you. You can make things different from the actual picture if you like. You could have a go at doing your own face in the style of Van Gogh. That would be cool. So now we're going to do, actually my sister lived in a village where his sister lived in Wheat Hampstead. Nope, it was Old Welling. His sister's house is there. There's a little placard on the wall, which is really cool. Right, I'm getting blue and white. Blue and white. And I'm just blue and white. I'm doing this. And the reason why I'm not just making one blue is I need to make it look like brush strokes. So I'm dipping it in the blue now, no white. It almost reminds me of dots. The good way of getting the brush strokes is just putting white over the top as you do it. So if I get white now and do that, it creates those brush strokes. Bit of blue there, yes please. Can you see if it's a block colour, it just doesn't look the same. So we're just going to do some white. This is a very simple picture. So if you want to add more detail, then obviously you can. But this is just a very simple way of doing it. Now, what colour eyes did Van Gogh have? I think he may have had, I don't know what colour he's. I'm going to do them a greeny colour. So we're going to mix yellow and blue to make green. And I'm just going to colour, you know, remember I said that bit's the iris, that bit's the colourful bit. You don't have to worry about black. Just colour over the black bit for now with green. It doesn't have to be green, it could be whatever colour you like. Now, his hair, Van Gogh's hair, was a beautiful kind of ginger hair. So what we're going to do is colour it an awesome ginger colour. So it's yellow and red. And we're going to do this. It's like, it looks like a really beautiful kind of straw effect in the sunlight. I've got a lot of friends that have that colour hair and it's beautiful. So I'm getting a bit of red on its own and I'm just creating the brush strokes with the red. And then remember, you don't want the hat to be the same as the hair. So what I'm going to do, because there's shadow under the hat, I am putting a bit of black on the brush. Got to be super careful with black because if you put it on the paper, it's really tricky to colour over the top. So I'm just going to do a line of black, but mainly near the ear. And his hair's not black, but I'm doing it for shadow. So I'm going to rinse the brush out, dry the brush, and just blend the edges. This might be super difficult. So if you do make a mistake, don't worry, let it dry, then paint over the top. So what I'll do is I'll show you in a way that if I've made a mistake. I would go a little bit darker there as well. So do a little bit dark bits there, just because the hat's dark there, but you don't have to. So I'm getting a little bit too detailed now. Now his eyebrows are going to be the same colour as his beard, so we can add those in. nice chunky eyebrows. And if you've lost the nose because you've painted over it, don't worry, you can just draw it back into the pencil, and then where that little line is there, do a little bit of black. Now, what I like doing is with a small brush, you can get a black and put the bobbly bits on the eye. So it's the pupil of the eye, not really bobbly, but now we can obviously work over this with chalk when it's dry. You can literally go over it, but you don't need to. Now, if I've made a mistake with my black, all you need to do is get a dry brush, dip it in the yellow, dip it in the red, and you're just gonna, it's gotta be dry, that black though, and you're just gonna go over, because it is hair, but it's darker because it's under the hat, so it's like a shadow. And there we have it. I would probably, it depends how old you are and how confident you are, but I would probably go over with a little bit of black there. Like I said, you've got to be a bit careful with black because sometimes you put it on too much and it's tricky to get off. I'm just drying the brush now and just going over the black. But give it a go, see how you get on. Just give it a go, even if it turns out not quite how you want it to. Don't worry, this paint, when you use acrylic paint, you can go over things. So I could add more of the beard there, can go over. So the great thing about paint is once it's dry, you can just go over it and over it. I'm quite happy with that. I think if I had more time, I'd probably colour a green background. Might do it now if I've got time. I don't know if I've got time actually. What I like doing, it's not in his paintings necessarily, I think there's a tiny bit of white in his eye, but not much, but I'm going to do this. It gives the eye life, so it looks quite realistic, it looks really nice. I haven't got time to do the background, but if you see the background there, it's almost like he's standing in a green, almost like nature, a background of nature. So you could, if you had chalks, when it's dry, colour it in, or paint it in green. Look amazing. So have fun with that. Let me know how you get on, and I shall see you soon.